Hey everybody, welcome to 911 Podcast.
The podcast that St. Helena didn't know it needed.
But Hill, don't you think we've expanded our horizons a little bit beyond St. Helena?
I think you're right, Chris. I think we're officially the podcast that Napa Valley didn't know it needed.
I like it.
We've been making moves.
Big moves. So I'm Chris.
I'm Hillary.
And we are the hosts of 911 Podcast, where we
drink wine, talk St. Helena and Napa Valley crime,
and hang out with locals.
That's pretty much it.
What more could you want? We're going to have a very exciting episode for tonight, so stay tuned. Hope you like it.
And enjoy. Hello, Chris.
Hello, Hillary.
So today we have a very special guest, or I guess this evening we do. He is a now new Napa local, but all the way from France. I would say you're like a pioneer in organic and biodynamic farming.
Indeed, of course.
You also, we hear, are a big lover of Frenchies, the dogs.
Absolutely. Anything on four legs I love. But French Bulldog specifically.
And what else, Chris?
Let's see. Well, he's the owner of some very well-known wineries. Let's see. Raymond, for one. Very old winery. Actually, the oldest winery, Buena Vista.
Yes.
Yep.
And very proud of Buena Vista. Big players in Napa Valley, too, and Deloach. Yes.
Absolutely.
And where we are, the JCB.
Yes.
Oh, this is phenomenal.
So welcome.
Cheers.
JCB.
Yes, thank you.
Hey.
The sound of crystal is the best, isn't it?
Yes.
And so what are we drinking out of?
So
where are we drinking out of?
Oh, so we're drinking out of a Baccarat crystal glass called the Passion collection that I was very fortunate to design with the help of Baccarat, the oldest crystal maker of France. And we wanted to really bring to Napa Valley and the world of wine a very unique glass which is charged with emotion, passion, great sound, where all the senses are gathered within this amazing, beautiful glass that you can hold and play with as you're doing well.
Right on. Well,
wine is never the same with those glasses.
We're so excited to be here.
We're excited to be here. First of all, I would like to know, how is it you got so lucky to get on our show?
Well,
how long did it take you to work this out?
Before even you started, I started begging. And that was really
You
when
just heard the rumors going through the valley.
But I saw a beautiful red-haired lady. Her hair was floating on Highway 29 in a convertible. I followed her all the way to San Helena, and as she realized she was right behind Sunshine. She was the sunshine of the valley. And I inquired, and there she was, and she is with you, the founder of the show. So I said, if I want to see her again, maybe I'll have some friends who may know her that will possibly
Small
ask
valley.
her.
So lucky. I'm just glad that I'm not the only pretty face on this show. So.
Well, you could have done it if you would have taken me on your helicopter. Then that would have
That'll be the next show, so stay tuned for Jean-Charles on the
absolutely.
on the chopper. Wait, Jean-Charles on a chopper?
Oh, exactly. J Chopper.
I think we should do it live from the air.
Oh, for sure.
It would be thrilling and exciting. And I've done a lot of jumps from typically airplanes. I've done 13 so far.
Wow.
So maybe out of the helicopter we could figure it out from the base. I'll take the risk. If you could go to 14,000 feet, I'll take the risk.
Have you used skydive?
Well, I did 13 jumps. So
That's 13 more than I have.
Well, it's thrilling. Well, you fly. You're not supposed to jump on it.
Yes, we'd like you to stay in the cockpit.
Fair enough. I'll go with that.
But I need to tell you, my dream has always been to jump off an helicopter.
Really?
Whichever the height, I would do probably 30, 40 meters with shoes, of course, and land. And I saw the Navy SEAL do it in San Diego when I attended one of their sessions. And it was not only very cool to watch, but I wanted to do it. And I was able to do it at 5 meters, so 15 feet. Which was
That's
nothing.
amazing. Wow.
But it was cool,
Okay.
So anything intense, I'm with you.
I love it.
I love it.
Well, anyway, we're so excited. So, other thing, I mean, gosh, the Oakville Grocery, that's another...
That's right. Well, the Oakville Grocery,
Yeah.
when you think about it, I had the pleasure to come to Napa Valley when I was 11 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, come back at 12 years old, and my parents went shopping there.
Mm-hmm.
And my sister and I were so amazed that I remembered we had rented bikes, and we every day went shopping there, and it was a discovery of great mustards, of great marmalades, of great sauces, of great, sourdough bread, beautiful cheeses. So that was always so deep into my mind, and loving St. Helena, adoring Rutherford, enjoying Oakville.
Yep.
When it became available, and Leslie Rudd, as well as his daughter Samantha, knew we would be interested. So we obviously decided very quickly, because this is part of the iconic destination of the heart of Napa Valley.
Yes.
Do you have memories going there growing up?
Absolutely. Well, the post office used to be right where the coffee station is now, so we would go
That's
to the
it.
post office all the time.
That's right.
But the Oakville Grocery was iconic. The most iconic part of it. What, Jean-Charles, what was the most iconic part of the Oakville Grocery to you?
Well, to me, from a historical perspective, is the Victorian house next to it,
yeah.
which we converted as a museum now. And why iconic? Because you had Mr. Duran, Mr. Booth, as two families bringing their wives and children, building this house as early as 1874, finishing in 1877, and then having the dream to have a mercantile provision shop, and they build, the Oakville Grocery. So for me, White's iconic as a building, as a facade. It's the American dream. You come west, you help the wine world, you help Quicksilver, which was across the street, not
Yes,
far away
of
from
course.
your family vineyards, to anything which happens. So for me, it really represents, as the Victorian era, what happened with the English influence, obviously the American combination with obviously a little bit of a French, European je ne sais quoi, with the Swiss, the Germans, the Italians, and maybe a little bit of the French coming in at that time. So I'm bullish about all that, and the moment you step foot in, it's a dream of senses. The smells, the American-style sandwiches, which are to die for.
And now the pizza oven, the best edition.
The best
I'm convinced
edition.
the pizza oven
Yes.
with.
Yeah, and we do it with our own wood, fired wood. So a beautiful camut base flour, which is very good for your body. So it's a historical type of flour. So it's a very crispy and extremely delicious. We do the best burgers.
Yeah.
I mean, our friend Joe God does a great job too at God. But the big burger, made in front of you right there is pretty insane
beat
too.
it.
And then the BLT.
Yeah.
With very crispy bacon.
Say,
go
I'm
wrong.
a breakfast burrito fan.
Oh, the best. Tell us. Well, we had not too long ago during harvest the breakfast burrito every day there
Oh,
at
they're
5:30.
scrumptious.
They're going to go quick.
It was
very
amazing.
Yeah, because I have memories going, because my mom worked in Yountville, so she would take me on sick days to her work, and we would stop and get a hot chocolate and a lemon bar. So every time I'm there, I have like memories of getting the delicious lemon bars.
And talking about your childhood, my daughters are 9 years old, and their request, which is very smart, Papa, we want to see a children's menu.
Oh,
And
nice.
it's
Yeah.
smart. So we did the menu
Yeah.
this weekend. It's going to be peanut butter and jelly.
Cool.
Perfect.
Sandwich, of course, iconic. It's going to be as well ham and cheese, grilled cheese, and a series of different things that you want to have as well as a child when you go there, because parents go with their kids.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
are you sure you're still able to make that decision, though? Because I heard something very unfortunate happen last
Can you
week.
believe?
I
But
heard
you
you
know-
were fired.
I was fired
your
by
children.
them. Well, I could still take them there for a sandwich, but
Okay.
I was fired because my own sandwich was not to the par. Can you imagine?
So you have to go to the Oakville Grocery.
Now I do. I rely on all the great chefs there, and they do a great job. And you know what my daughters love there as well is the devil eggs
Okay.
with a little balsamic vinegar in it, and you put the whole egg in your mouth. It's like a French kiss. Not to suggest anything tonight, of
Of course not.
Something very special.
So
Speaking of something special,
Yes.
Do you think we should start off this month's police log, which is December
we
of
December
2020?
2020, and then as our throwback, we did December 22 2009 because that was the year that you purchased Raymond. So we
Thank
thought
you.
that was a nice
That's so
tribute.
kind of you.
Absolutely.
Do you have a fun one, Chris?
I have a fun one. I think Jean-Charles should start. This is a very special, speaking of special animals, on the 29th of December, 1642 in the
On
afternoon.
a Tuesday, December 29 at 4 p.m. and 42 minutes.
He knows how to read military time.
Oh, for sure.
Most
You're
of our
hired.
guests don't.
For sure. And I'm glad you're sitting at 10 o'clock.
Nice.
So, an African gray parrot, name Chris. Oh, sorry, Lucia. Was reported missing from Rutherford Vineyards, the Morisoli estate established in 1902 in the heart of Rutherford. He or she is 5'9" and 5'11" inches tall, with darker brown auburn hair, with a body with a lot of feathers on his back, but a lot of hair on his chest. He has really powerful lips, a very long tongue, and he's somehow walking around with a red tail. He's been missing apparently for quite a while after some pigeage on his open-top fermenter's toes and his left foot. He's walking strangely with external growth that we won't say where it comes from, but it seems very strange. He's wearing a skirt as a Scottish man, and that may be the reason why. He's talking and very talkative, very friendly, I should say. He's approaching people all the way Highway 29, flagging them to come to Morisoli Vineyards, and he's really saying, "Come, you'll taste the finest of what Rutherford has to offer. Open your mouth, and the dust will change. Whatever you've been thinking about Napa Valley Cabernet Sauvignon." He's apparently known to love being indoors at very strange hours of the day. He gets scared by the sun, escape the house at night, and come back early in the morning. Multiple calls have been reported as loud sounds come out of his house in the heart of Rutherford. And we are wondering if the Morisoli Vineyards is not up to partner with him to see if those fireworks could actually be identified.
I hope we
I
find
think we need
him.
a round of applause
God,
for that.
a lot have happened at 1642, and apparently more got reported later that night
Oh my goodness.
at 23:21, and then again at 23:59.
Whoa.
Before midnight.
Was there a curfew at midnight?
Ooh. In December there would have
There
been.
would have been, yeah.
God.
That may be the best rendition of a parrot lost in St. Helena that I've yet heard.
You know what? I hope we don't find him because I would like to keep this going.
Well, apparently he's hard to catch.
Apparently.
Apparently he knows how to fly high. Ooh la la!
Ooh.
Does it say who that may be?
Hillary, throw us one back to 2009.
Okay, I have one where things got a little wild on a Friday night at 11:56 p.m.
Ooh.
A caller,
11:56, not 11:59.
Nope.
So that couldn't be him.
A caller inquired about a parade with a brass. Oh, I'm so sorry. This is 11:56 in the morning.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
It's a
12-hour difference.
midnight
It's fine.
parade is
A
aggressive.
caller inquired about a parade with a brass band, horses, and a truck carrying Santa. The parade got up and down Hunt Avenue 3 times, and the caller said it was very loud. Police checked the area, and they couldn't find the parade. So I'm missing.
Have you ever been in a parade, John?
Oh, all the time. I love
you-
parade. As a matter of fact, you know, one of the greatest one I've been to in the United States is the New Orleans parade, the parade, the Cork of Crew.
Oh, tell us
Which
about
is
this.
well, it's a great one. So they do an amazing parade at times of Mardi Gras, you know, mid-February, a few days after Valentine, and it's a very cool parade where they do a crew of cork and they assign a theme. So I was luckily Louis XIV, not the 16, because my head would have been cut off. And I was surrounded by the court of France as everybody dressed up with
Yes.
beautiful dresses, 18th century. And it's probably a few thousand people parading in the heart of New Orleans, and it's fabulous. A lot of wine, a lot of fun, a lot of great food, and this was a good one.
So we might note that we are recording this tonight on Fat Tuesday. Jean-Charles has taken time away from that party to be with us. Understandably. This is more exciting.
Well, that's where it's
would you
happening.
be there if there wasn't COVID going?
Well, I would most likely be there because I was invited there, but I would be, if I had a choice, my favorite parade, I need to tell you, in my life was in Venice. And you get to dress up as a character from the 17th or 18th century.
Wow.
And you get to be that character all night.
Oh my goodness.
So in Venice, who do you think I dressed like? With a mask, a man loving passion and seduction. And it was many years ago, but it was probably my best ever dressed up parade. And San Francisco has great parade, of course. You know, the Castro, this is a great one. The other great parade is on Chinese New Year's, which was a few days ago. You know, and fireworks were going. It's a great parade as well. But I would say the one in Venice would be probably that.
And what were you dressed up as?
I was the Marquis de Sade.
Okay.
The Marquis de Sade, who is known to have written many letters, up to 40 a night,
That's commitment.
to over 60 ladies, and succeeded to seduce half of them.
Modern day Tinder.
Oh, exactly.
If
Can
you're
you
batting-
imagine?
You're batting 500. That's not bad. Sure.
So we trying, Chris, your fabulous wine you brought up as well. So
Sure, we're
thank you.
drinking.
So, well, I have a question about dressing up.
Let's hear it.
Because you have a iconic style, and I feel like so does Chris. But you guys interpret Napa Valley style very differently.
That's true. Yeah. So how do you interpret my style?
Great style,
Yeah.
gentleman farmer.
Here,
Chris is
Very
a big,
elegant.
He's a big fan of the flannel.
a big fan. That's all I own. If you have
Well, which I would define Chris is as one of the men who came during the gold rush. He's wearing that famous, fabulous 501 jeans. You know, this iconic, beautiful denim. He has those deep, dark, fabulous leather shoes. He has this Scottish, Burberry style English jacket. So he could be obviously hunting the famous grouse. He could be landing his helicopter, or he could be, you know, just enjoying his great wine on his porch. And I would see all of the above happening.
Wow. And you
Great watch, of course, the pilot watch, the famous unbreakable, you know, oyster. And
yep.
here he is.
Yeah. But you interpret Napa Valley style differently.
Well, I that's the beauty, I think, of Napa Valley.
Is you can do anything.
And America at large is, I think we could be whoever we want to be in whichever circumstances. For me, I love Red Sox. I could never live without them. I love very nice shoes in a certain sense, you know, always with a red sole. And I
can
love a
relate to
jacket so I can hide my very powerful chest. So no one just throw themselves against it. No, but love a certain way of style. And I think what is important is always, in anywhere you are, is to feel who you are and to be who you want to be. And to accept to be who you are and to be who you ultimately are and to be who you want to be. I know it's complicated.
So you know, it all makes sense. So how do you take that style, your personal style, into the wine you make and your experiences at your wineries?
Well, thank you for asking this very complex question, as we have multiple wineries. I think what we always do with a winery, always, is keep it very true to its history. We really respect the past. We really respect heritage, like you do with your wine, you know, founded in 1902. There's a very nice cartouche. There's a very nice image of your family estate. You're really respectful of the colors, the past, the imagery, what it's all about. And I think Buena Vista, as the oldest winery, has a very unique style. It's all about stone, leather, velvet, deep green, a little bit of touch of leopard, of course, because this is typical 19th century decoration, and very beautiful wood furniture and great rich colors. You go to Raymond, it's that American classic reborn. What was America in the 70s? Something amazing, something groovy, something so innovative in fashion and style that it could be anything you want. It's all about the senses. So Raymond is an explosion of senses because the 70s, we all discovered Napa with a different eye. Mm-hmm. And then JCB is obviously really always with the idea that you take people in a journey of thinking, whether it's groovy, high energy, music, design, and always asking themselves to question whatever they see, like the roses in the sky. You typically look down at roses because they are planted in the ground. What about going up and looking at roses suspended in the sky? What about having the sky, as you could see behind you, in fact, the clouds suspending that beautiful marble? What about having this egg-shaped Lincoln Memorial marble on the portrait of the Last Judgment? You know why the Last Judgment? Because we hear always forgiven. None of us judge us because it's the Last Judgment. So we all saved. What about the Chapelle 16, ceiling with God giving birth to Adam, designed by, of course, Michelangelo? What about, another Botticelli, the birth of Venus, protected with the grapes instead of the clouds? So the whole idea of JCB is always to change the idea of what you see. It's not always what you see. What you perceive and feel is maybe something very different that you would both feel.
I love that.
And how do the wine styles?
So the JCB wines, as an example, really reflect, I believe, what I've been personally drinking forever, which is very, very elegant wine. I've always been on the scale of not too much overly tannic wines, not too intense, and I like power with velvet. I like sophistication with a huge personality. I like charisma, but eventually with a lot of subliminal flavors. Yeah. Rather than a very just powerful wine, very ripe and concentrated.
Yeah. No 4x4s.
Exactly. Yeah. So I like the power and feeling it. Like the police report, I read it. It's intriguing. Yeah. We want to know more.
We do.
Who is that person
We do.
walking around with feathers?
Like?
I have a cat.
Let's hear about the cat.
A scandalous cat. Police tried to help get a cat out of a barn near Pratt Avenue. The cat had gotten lost during the glass fire evacuations. This was on Friday, December 11th. If we go all the way to Sunday, December 13th, the cat was still living in the barn on Pratt Avenue.
Pretty cool.
And everything was fine.
The cat was
It's
fine.
too bad. I love taxidermy. I'm always looking for great skin. So if you all know about a cat who actually disappears, I have a great taxidermist. Let me know.
Good to know.
Well, it could be an elephant. It could be anything you find. Anybody with long hair. Ooh la
I
la.
would love to find an elephant roaming around Napa Valley.
That'd be fun.
What is the most crazy thing you found in Napa Valley?
Oh, what, at work or,
Well, whichever
Things
way.
we can talk
those
about.
I can't talk about, but I've seen
Besides knocking at Chris' door at 2 a.m. last August.
I've done that, unfortunately, a few times, I will admit.
Well, it's good to really, be assertive of your needs and wants. There's never
like good
any
wine.
time.
He always has good wine.
And they always want to wear the army hats.
The army hats are the best part.
But does he show up with an underwear or just with a pyjama?
The underwear and the gun was the best look, I
Ooh,
think.
Definitely it.
What color underwear? Do you remember that?
I think I was so frightened that he had a gun in his hand that I didn't look.
You didn't look below the waist.
I didn't. It was more
It's amazing what a big caliber can do to a small one. Did I really say that?
We're just plinking over here.
I'm so sorry, Chris.
Plinking with the 22.
You always direct what you want the ladies to look at. Who told you to go to bed dressed up? I've always slept naked, and it's kind of the best clothes I've always had.
I've heard
the
that it's
sheets
because
themselves.
if your house catches on fire and you have to run out, you want to be wearing what you want people to see you in.
That's right.
So if that's your look of choice, then we're all set.
That's always my look of choice.
And that's why you go to bed glammed out all the time, right?
Always. I don't wear glam to work, but I sleep
course.
glam. Exactly.
Really? Would you send us pictures?
Absolutely.
God,
yeah,
we
I'll
gotta
send
keep
some
dreaming.
selfies.
And you might have to look out for this report on Sunday, December 27th at 12:16 in the afternoon. a report of several boys riding their bikes in traffic lanes on Main Street between Pope and Spring. The caller told them to get out of the street, and they called him rude names.
Or boys or girls?
Boys, so
Did
that's
you have
why...
a saddle or no saddle on the bags?
You should be careful.
I know.
I mean, you
call
need
you
to
rude
really
names.
observe every part of it.
Well, I feel like these boys would have attended this party. This was at 1:23 in the morning on a Saturday. Report of a large party that had turned to a brawl on Oak Avenue. Officers contacted residents who had been snowboarding down their stairs inside the apartment. The party was closed down for the night. So they switched from bikes to snowboards.
Ah.
Parties is something that John
We-
Charles knows how to do.
Well,
We've
once
heard
in a
this.
while. When we could, we dying to...
Can you tell us about the time that you were 007 and you saved the world's taste?
Well, Agent 69.
Agent 69.
Hence the
Thank you.
JCB 69. Yeah, so we had an amazing party here in Yountville, in fact, for the World Summit. And it was kind of amazing because all those world leaders, you know, Gorbachev at the time, Margaret Thatcher, George Bush, they were all coming and showing up, including our famous friend from Korea. And suddenly something happened. The goal, which I didn't know, of course, as we served plethora foie gras, caviar, bison, all the foods you can imagine, was to actually poison one of the key leaders. So suddenly, Agent 69 noticed that something was wrong.
Sprung into action.
And we saved the world, and we saved the energy of potentially what could happen. But anybody who's listening can see it on the JCB Collection website. You know, this was a great story.
That was your
my
50th
favorite.
birthday party.
Well, no, that's another event. That was a different event. My 50th was a lot of fun and many great friends, and we really celebrated the way we thought half a century should be. So energy, fire, sensuality, seduction, sex appeal, dance, pool, dance floor, fights, guns, animals, sex,
We need to rework
Seduction,
my 30th birthday plan.
feathers,
I think we need to add in a few
skin,
more things.
all of the above. I know.
And this was at Raymond.
It was at Raymond
what a
Vineyards.
place.
And we were so fortunate that we had a lot of great guests coming. And, you know, I wanted to be like you, to be in a helicopter. But we realized it was not possible, so I decided to be on a 30-feet swing. And I was serving all our guests on the swing, the JCB 21 and 69.
I had so I have a big birthday coming up, and I requested
You're
Chris.
finally turning 27.
How'd you know?
Golden birthday.
So
Well, the beautiful hair.
I requested that Chris drive me in on a fire truck, but I think the swing might be a better option.
Indeed.
Well,
Or
I think what he should do, frankly, he should drop you in,
In the
pool,
basket?
in the basket. On what should happen? I think you would agree with that. We surrounded with the National Guards, the Army, with helicopter pilots, with the safety of America here. I think Chris should drop you from his helicopter on a cord into a hot air balloon. The hot air balloon drops you suddenly into a tree with a beautiful nest where the man or woman of your life carries you down.
I love
and
this.
you jump in the pool. We pick you up with choreographed dancers, and then we enjoy a beautiful glass of wine in a hammock.
If this happens, I expect you to attend.
Well, I'll be there for the last part.
Perfect.
do you think if this happens, we will make the police log?
Well, hopefully with what can happen next.
Speaking of that, have you ever been in the police log, Jean-Charles, or ever had any interaction with
Well,
our men and women in blue?
I'm fortunate so far, although we may look at the records, but I'm fortunate so far that I may not have. Although I love all the policemen in obviously Napa Valley and the sheriffs, and I really feel we're very blessed to have an amazing group of people who, one, are understanding, two, really listening to the guests they have, because they really guest all the time here. And I feel it's always a very interesting journey. Maybe I've been in the log recently because my tire blew up.
Let's see.
On the highway.
Can we hear this story?
Oh, it was amazing. Let's have a toast.
Cheers.
Cheers, yes.
Cheers to the tire.
Oh, yeah, that was a lot of fun. So we I was driving full speed, but at speed limit. I should say I was maybe 11.2% higher than the speed limit.
That's acceptable.
Rushing on the road, I was sweating of excitement to where I was going. And suddenly, I was listening, of course, to John Legend singing. I got excited. I had tomatoes. I had great wines for the dinner. I had all kinds of things in the car. And the tire front left blew out. Bang! And it's amazing the feeling when a tire really starts to blow and chip. So luckily the car was very clever. She started to slow down before I did. And suddenly a police car is behind me. Luckily a gorgeous, beautiful blonde takes her hat out. Literally Levi Strauss advertising campaign. Blows her hair in the wind. She has those piercing blue eyes and said, "Can I see your driving license?" And I said, "But of course, what else?" And she was very charming and she says, "Well, what's the issue?" And I said, "Officer, I would not want you to bend too far, but you could see there's obviously an issue. I deflated the emotions." And she looks at my tire and she says, "Oh, I'm sure I can help." And say, "Officer, when did you start your shift?" She says, "I just started." Well, I said, "I don't want you to get all dirty, and I cannot really help you because, I'm not very good at changing heavy tires." And she says, "No worries. There is someone who is on service with us, who is patrolling, and he could come and help." So we talked for a while, and she was extremely charming, very pleasant, extremely helpful. She taught me a lot of things about her life and what they do. And I was really grateful. It was a wonderful 12-minute encounter. Then the man came, changed my tire, luckily was so generous. So I gave him a few bottles of wine, of course.
Do you carry those in your car just
always,
ready to go?
At all times. At all times.
Specially
designed case in the trunk. So you never know what can happen. You could
Always
be strangled among the fires and you need a little refreshment.
You're a Boy Scout, always prepared.
Absolutely.
I think you were.
God, of course. I have all my stripes, as you know. And I have the cookies, too, in the car, just in case. And so she was fabulous. And that was, I believe, my last record. It was August 26th of 2020. And it was at around 5:55 p.m. because I called AAA. They're wonderful, but they were obviously very backed up. Mm-hmm. And so she was so cool, so charming. She had kind of that crest, beautiful toothpaste smile.
Oh, that goes this way.
The typical American, gorgeous smile. I was seduced. I was transported. The 12th minute felt like one. Suddenly, I wish it lasted longer, in fact. And then I was back on the road. That was my experience.
Phenomenal.
Pretty
I
cool,
wish
huh?
every tire exploding scenario could play out that well.
I was very fortunate.
Mine have not.
Well, because
envisioning
you don't drive, you just fly.
You're right.
That's why.
That's the problem. I'm wondering, though, if you had been sitting there and you saw a man wearing only pants pushing a shopping cart down northbound on Highway 29, how you would have reacted.
Are you asking Chris?
Either.
Well, I've had that situation. And in many times, I could tell you, and I'm recorded for that, I love to stop and have a chat or give them something, whatever they need. Mm-hmm. And often I ask, and I start to get into discussion of what's going on, what's happening, and why. Not only on Highway 29, but in San Francisco as well, or in Napa. Mm-hmm. And I love striking discussions with people I don't know. Mm-hmm. They're typically the most amazing. And I got to tell you a story. We have a book called The Alchemy of the Senses, and within the book, it's the picture you see, who would be your Last Supper. And you're allowed to invite 12 to 11 guests, as you wish. And we did the exercise on a tour last year, all around the United States, and there's a woman who gave me her postcards. And she was a very powerful woman in Texas, and with all what she wanted in life, and she said, "I want to be by myself. I want to walk around the street and find all the homeless possible that I find interesting, and I want to have them at their table. at my table and find out who they are.
That's pretty
And
cool.
I really think every individual, to your point, deserves attention. No one doesn't deserve any overlooking. We all here for the reason that we should be here, and we should all be treated really respectfully and with attention and love and passion. So that person on Highway 29 or at the Salvation Army or wherever, I think we should give them the respect as we would want to be treated the same way.
I love
Great.
that.
That's maybe the best answer ever.
I know.
That's phenomenal. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that was a man.
Yeah.
So imagine. It was a wild cat.
If you ever find Hillary on the side of the road
I know.
pushing her bicycle, please,
Then-
will you
More
please
likely
pick
I'll
her
be
up?
pushing my
Then,
Vespa.
first of all, I will be out of breath just looking at Hillary on the side. Two, I will purposely make sure there's a form of an accident. So my car is unused and we can walk the hill
can walk.
together. And I could imagine we'll walk Marcamas Mountain
Perfect.
and look at the valley and reflect on her childhood.
There we
Beautiful.
go.
Beautiful. Sounds good.
I love it.
And
And if you're
realize
by Raymond, if you're by the new entrance to Raymond, by Whitehall
The new
Lane, you
road
can
to
pull right
Raymond.
off. So can you run us through that? This is interesting. This is big news for the valley,
Indeed, well,
right?
Indeed, because it's great news because we believe it's so great to be able to enter wineries from 29. This is where our guests come.
Prime time.
There's two main roads, 29 and Silverado Trail, as everybody knows, and it's great to be able to minimize the traffic on Zinfandel and that turn just to come on 29.
Yeah.
So we achieved two things. One, minimizing the traffic on Zinfandel, because people used to have to go through Zinfandel. Two, create a magical entrance that creates, again, a little bit of a breather. Because, people are talking about roundabouts right now, which is a big
I
French
see you
thing.
have a roundabout.
We have a roundabout.
Okay.
Which is based on the sky and lion, the lion in the horoscope and in the alignment. So it's all about the energy of power. So the road is designed with a certain way that you're going to look at the Vacas Mountain as you leave back to the Marcamas at the oak trees at Mount Santilina. We designed it so wherever you put your eyes, you're going to discover something new that you may have never ever seen in Napa Valley.
Love
And I think we should live with our eyes open. And I know we do, but in a different way. And I think we should give the chance for our eyes to be able to transcribe, with emotion and feelings and taking our time of what we see. And I think that entrance is almost 2 miles, believe it or not, 2 miles almost. And it's actually 1.6, but close enough.
We round up.
It's amazing because it allows you to take your time and to feel the geology, the pedology, the beautiful mountain and the relief and how small Napa Valley is. To see the two hillsides and to realize how special it is
a great place.
and how unique Raymond is.
Yeah.
Well,
And then the house in front.
Yes.
What will, if you can say, what will the plans be? For
Well, this is all about secret indulgence.
Okay.
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 So this is all about the secrets that you want to indulge, all about the indulgence you want to have in secrets. So it goes in every way you want to imagine. So we will have a little sign, and if you want to come and discover it, there's going to be a number. You
Like a
dial it
speakeasy.
in a way,
oh, I love
and you'll be able to come in and enjoy some wonderful wines that are all crafted from that sense of place, which you and I love, which is Rutherford. And of course, as well, from that idea that wine is much more than we think it is. And it will allow in that house, which is one of the oldest Victorian homes, as you know, north of Napa, after the Oakville Grocery one. That house was built in 1906. So during the big earthquake in San Francisco, it's quite unique. And inside, there's vibration, there's frequency, there's magnetism like you've never felt before. That's why you should finish your glass so I can pour you the JCB Passion.
So yes, what are we drinking now? What
So
are we moving on to?
We started with the JCB Bubbles 21 from France, just to welcome you from my home, little humble area. Then we moved to the JCB 76, the Napa Valley Chardonnay. 76 in honor of the Judgment of Paris, when the American
And you're on
won.
the other side of the judgment.
I'm on both sides. I've always been the true Franco-American.
Yeah.
You know, and I love America deep and for all what America represents and is. So I'm on both sides. I was very happy because it really helped triggering what America is today. It really helped, you know, when you taste again the top Burgundies and you win as a Napa Valley Chardonnay against Corton Charlemagne or Montrachet, I think you've
Big deal.
arrived. And when you win, you know, with a Cabernet against the top guns of Bordeaux, you've done a pretty good job. So I think it's great. So the next one is exactly that. It's about passion. It's a red blend. It's intense. It's seductive. It's like you, rebellious and graceful. It's obviously spontaneous like Chris. And it's flamboyant like Chris. And it's luscious like your eyes.
There we go.
Well, it tastes amazing.
I
It
know,
smells
it's
wonderful.
delicious.
You've tasted a lot
Wow.
more than I know. God, that explains the 2 a.m. knocking on the door.
Certainly.
It's not in the police report, but we'll
It
make
did
sure.
not make the police log.
There's an
No.
extra
But
drive.
the picture of all of the girls in the army
Yes.
hats.
I will
We'll
have to show
that
you.
Oh,
It's
we
pretty
wanna see
funny.
it.
But
amazing.
I think I found a log that is you, Chris.
Oh dear.
This was at 10 p.m. A possible drunk man on a bike fell through a window on Hunt Avenue. He told the witness he was okay and continued east on Hunt. Chris lives on Hunt Avenue.
Ooh.
So
3 doors down from Safeway. So
I-
the beer runs are easy.
I think this may have been him.
It very possibly could be.
I'm,
But
Any recollection from that
no,
moment,
not
Chris?
at all. No, which is the way I like it.
it was a Wednesday, so.
Yeah, you never know.
Well, it's a special Wednesday.
Certainly wasn't drinking any of
It's
this JCB.
amazing. Those records are really, really exciting.
And they're very detailed.
Oh, I like this one. Can you believe at 11:27 a.m. in the morning, of course, report of approximately 15 people. How could they be 15? Doing very strange things on a field in the heart of Santa Elena near Hillview Place. What they were doing is unidentified, but the challenge is they were without mask. Police talked to them about social distancing and wearing masks. And they said, how do you do it without a mask? Question, what were they doing?
I have an idea.
I do too.
Do you want to take your guess?
I would say playing a sport.
Yeah, that was my
Well, what
guess
kind of
too.
sports?
I would say
think it was-
bocce, but
I
it
was
was
going to say
15.
rugby
Ooh,
because I've driven
Basketball.
past early in the morning and seen them playing before.
I have to toast to this
Wow.
correct answer.
There we go.
I was expecting something else at 11:27 a.m.
What is your favorite Napa Valley sport? I would hope. Well, like, what is it?
Well, wine drinking. You know, you start from the left arm and you continue on the right arm. And then when you're tired, you just go for the mouth. You know what else? I mean, for God's sake, sports is great. You know, I'm big in martial arts.
Oh,
Okay.
You know, I like the full contact type of thing. Strangulation is good, you know, and, you know, it's always important to know, specifically when you can identify this weird individual at 11:59 with feathers on his back in the heart of Santa Elena. You don't know what happens. So
I hope we
Exactly.
found. I'd like to think he.
I want to
made
be
that
able
goal.
to act before the police arrive sometimes. Or using my hands for anything. That's probably my favorite activity. I'm very tactile, so whatever it is as a sport, I would be venturing into, willing to get to know it.
Do you throw a bocce ball from time to time?
Absolutely. I like the smaller balls, though.
Of course.
The pétanque.
Yes.
You know, obviously I'm French. You know, the battery are the big ones.
yeah.
You know, the Italian always think big, but they act small. When the French are small, but they think big.
There we go.
It's like the Italians say, pointy end first.
We love the Italians. But you know, pétanque is fun.
Yeah.
So we did a few tournaments at Raymond. So we have the pétanque court, which is that stainless steel
Yeah.
ball
Mhm.
that, you know, got invented, as all of you love as well, you know, gun uncontrolled in America. And all that. It was an old bullet factory called But. And they
know
said,
that.
well, if we cannot do bullets, because, you know, in France, we're big in gun controls and you cannot buy ammunition as is. They started a separate business that became that stainless steel round bowl, and people
Yeah.
started to play with it and became an enormous fashion in the 19th century. and it became that incredible game as Bacci, but it's called pétanque.
Okay.
There we
Pétanque.
go.
Well, we'll have to make that the sport of 9-1 wine.
We will. I know we could get jerseys. We could get.
Hillary does
I'm
all
all
of it.
about the merchandise. So I'm trying to get fanny packs. I'm trying to get all the shirts, everything that we could do.
I think we could create a few of those. Absolutely.
Anything we could do.
So what about you?
What about? My favorite sport? Mm-hmm. Well, I wrestled in high school. But I would say bocce's my favorite sport.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
of course. Because we have the bocce tournament in St. Helena.
I love it.
Yeah.
And
Do you show up there occasionally?
Well, I will if you invite me.
We will.
Yeah,
I'm going to practice.
it's lots of fun.
Yeah.
It's more about the social scene than it is.
I think
the
you'd
actual
really
playing.
enjoy Hillary's team name.
Niagara Balls.
It may be too powerful for me.
We made
I've
it,
never dove
we
from
made it
so
all
high
the way
with
to
so
the
much power.
playoffs.
I'm on the sand crabs.
Oh, that's
So we say,
that's
you
another
come play with
form of-
us, you have crabs. Who else is good? We got the
You know,
Hone Dogs.
I was really
They're
great at
always
just
the
bringing the
champions.
snacks.
Me
So
too.
But that's great that you're doing this. Congratulations. It creates a lot of great activity.
yeah,
Is San Helena played against Yonville? Because as you know, we have a Bacci team right here too.
I don't think
That may be something we should set
we've
up.
crossed cities, but we could
Yeah.
host a 9-1 wine bocce tournament.
Yeah. Because you live in Yountville
Yes,
most
indeed.
of the time.
Yeah. Absolutely.
with 2 daughters
Two irresistible daughters that go to school in your beautiful town of San Helena.
in St. Helena.
Do they go to Montessori?
Indeed.
I love their farm. That is
Yes.
my favorite spot.
Very impressive.
Wonderful. And Gina?
And
there was
Gina
a-
goes to school with the girls as well.
Yeah?
Well, actually, she graduated already recently.
So, was it love that kept you here in Napa Valley after
Absolutely.
coming out here?
It's love that brought me definitely to California. I had bought the Loche and I was still living in France. And I need to tell you, I was living a Franco-American life, which was fabulous. And I was living in France, but coming here on visitations and, extended visits, but still being based in France. And Gina really was the convincing factor of ultimate seduction.
Okay.
Those deep, powerful blue eyes, that California flair, that irresistible charm. And the last thing you know, I moved. And then I said, I need more action. So we bought Raymond and then Buena Vista, which were dreams anyhow. And really expanded. And I think, I would tell you that the best of all as a couple is this bicultural, emotional feel of two worlds together, which are different, but at the same time very similar. I think the French and the American, there's something together that obviously Benjamin Franklin talked about, Thomas Jefferson, every single president of the United States have loved the relationship. We've loved, obviously, you saving our ass so many times. Thank you.
Vice versa.
Well, we've helped a few times, but I think you've done the big ones. And I think that's very special. So I think with Gina and I, it's this phenomenal relationship that, I hope our daughters, obviously, culture, both, background, both
And
heritage.
they speak French too, yeah?
They do.
Cool.
They do. And, obviously, we're trying always to speak French to each other. When they're mad at me, they scream in English. When I'm mad at them, I scream in French. But sadly, we all understand each other, which is, a lot of
works.
fun. But they're loving San Helena, and we love where you were born, both. And it's one of the great towns, and it's a saint town. You're both two saints.
Well, what do you think of, in the next 20 years, what do you see the future of Napa, St. Helena? What
I'm
do you
absolutely bullish
Yeah.
about America.
think? Uh-huh.
I'm bullish about California. This is one of the states I love the most. And this is the state I will forever be. Whichever political agenda there is, I will always be here. I'm an enormous believer of the American lifestyle. I love it. I adore the American way of thinking. I'm bullish about the American way of living, which is today wine, great food, and really wanting to perfect what people have done the day before, the week before, the month before, the year before, the century before. So America is always on that constant willingness to improve. And as we see in the wines from Morisoli, and that's why, Chris, very commending of you, 1902, and you just started to make wine, you make a stunning wine. Congratulations.
Thank you. You're the first one to try it.
Very honored, privilege, and I hope you grant us a few bottles for the Oakville Grocery to be on our shelves.
Sure, absolutely.
We'll be privileged, honored. Our body will be excited, will shiver as we pass in front of it. And I really believe,
Thank you.
America has just started. And the world of wine, like your wine, it's very refined, it's very elegant. We're really on the same vein. This is Passion, which is a blend of Cab Sauvignon, Cab Franc, and a little Petit Verdot. You mainly Cabernet Sauvignon, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And they go very well together. One has a style, the other one, but both very elegant. And I really feel, Hilary, to answer your question, that I think and Chris, the next 20 years will be better than the last. I'm very optimistic. I'm very bullish. I think this is Northern California at large, because I'm here to speak from Santa Barbara all the way to the Oregon border. All the wines are great. It's like from the south of France to the north, or the south, or Spain, Portugal, Germany, Italy, France, and even now English sparkling wine. It's all great. And I believe thanks to wine, we create a catalyst of discussion, of culture. It's the product of civilization. It was in the Bible, in the Torah, in every single religious discussion. This is the beginning. So I really believe Napa Valley and the way it's being managed, which is very well, for the most parts, very, very well, and wine country at large will be a haven and is heaven. I don't believe in hell or maybe heaven. I don't know. I only have friends in hell. It seems warmer and more cozy. But whatever I believe in, this is the paradise. And
we're very lucky to live here. So
Yeah.
And we're lucky to have folks like you here.
Well, we love it, and we're here to hopefully continue to bring a little bit of the seeds of the old world and bring things in perspective, because all our wineries are really fun, but you can only have fun when you're good at what you do. And I really believe we have an amazing team of winemakers. They're all Californian, 6th generation, 5th generation, 4th generation. Stephanie Putnam at Raymond, Kathy George at Raymond, Thane Knudsen at Raymond, Brian Maloney, Katie Carter, and Sophie Drake, and a whole group of other winemakers that I'm not mentioning, all with a true respect of Napa. So I think, and Sonoma, so I believe we will be grand and continue to do what we do with flamboyance and fun, as long as the wines are phenomenal. And the people I just mentioned make those phenomenal wines, get the phenomenal rankings. So people come for that, but they want to have a good time. And I think our contribution, in addition to what you do and what we all do, is to bring that je ne sais quoi fun, excitement, that people keep want to come back.
Absolutely.
So if
Wonderful.
people wanted to get your wine or come experience, everything we've talked about, how do you recommend
Well,
they
they
do
go
that?
on 91wine.com and they really, there's a link to the JCB collection, to the Boisset collection.
Absolutely.
And hopefully you're going to open your wine shop very soon in Santa Elena.
We just both have these day jobs,
These
that
pesky jobs.
I did all this school and now I have to work at it. So maybe
Well,
eventually we'll
wine
side
is
hustle.
a form of medication. Remember,
I agree.
well, and my grandmother stayed with us till 104. My other grandmother till almost 99. My grandfather till 98, and the other one till 89. And all of them had a glass of wine for breakfast, a glass of wine for lunch, and a glass of wine for dinner. Not more than one. Very, with the food or with whatever they were having, and they had substantial breakfast. They were, substantial people in size.
I'm waiting for the American Family Physicians to come out with that study, and when they do, I will 100% support it.
And until then, we'll get breakfast burritos from Oakville Grocery.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
And thank you both for
Great.
doing what you're doing.
Yes.
It's so fun. We love to have you.
Thank
we
you.
cannot be in the medical car going to the helicopter pad and take off to wherever we want.
Well,
Cheers.
I think that's perfect.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you for having
Thanks,
us.
Jean-Charles.
Yay.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for hanging out over the last hour with us. We hope you had fun. And if you didn't, I'm seriously impressed that you're still hanging on.
They definitely had fun. This was the 16th episode with JCB on the 911 podcast. How did they not have fun?
That's a good point. It has been Hillary's dream to get JCB on, and we finally made it.
And he lived up to every expectation that I had.
This was a ton of fun.
And we have lots of more fun guests to come, so stay tuned. Listen to us on all streaming platforms, iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts.
And there's even an Instagram, I'm told.
There is. Do you know what our handle is?
I think it's spelled out at 911 Podcast.
Look at the progress that we've made.
Give it a shot.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
2243. You enjoy your evening and be safe.